guys. Thanks for joining in again. So we're into the Queensland Petroleum industry here, analysing in Power BI. Today we've had a bit of a look at the Queensland Petroleum facility licenses with reserves. I've just got it open here in Power BI desktop. I've added some more data sets here to my model. Okay, I've got a big data set here from 2015 through to 2023 that has all the production volume data that I've added to my data set here to do up a couple of connections there and schemas and to make the analysis more in depth. So what we're covering today is pipeline facility licenses here to start with, natural gas reserves by operator from 2019, and then I've got the total number of producing wells from 2015 to 2023, followed by the production volume of those wells across different forms of petroleum there from 2015 to 2023 by basin. Okay, so just going to go through pretty quick here because there's a lot to sort of touch on. So these bits I'm not going to focus on too much, and then I'll bring up Power BI service so we can have a nice full screen view. Okay, so over here to start off with here, you can see the data sets that I've used over here on the right-hand side of the page and what variable been selected and dragged and dropped. Okay, so what we can see, Santos here, we can see the oil reserves, natural gas reserves here, and we can see that Australia Pacific LNG Proprietary Limited is the facility, the licensed sort of operator for that particular facility. And then I can have a bit of a look through here and have a look. Okay, well, there's another pipeline. What are they called? Jamina Roma North Pipeline Proprietary Limited to these guys, and then Santos GLNG Proprietary Limited here. Okay, look at Bridgeport, their Cenex Compression facility. So these are all the different sort of facilities that these petroleum operators are using. And if I want to have a bit of a look down here at the different facilities, I can click on here for Atlas Compression, or whatever it's called. Okay, that's that one. That one's not coming up. But look here. Okay, so Roma North. Right, so that's the one there with Jamina Roma North Pipeline. And then these guys here, we don't have anything there. Okay, so a bit of empty data. If I want to look at, okay, which one of these is oil, I can have a look here and go, okay, that's predominantly an oil base sort of site. That's what these guys are focusing on. Gas over here, Santos Limited, no surprises there with their reserves. And then con gas and con oil, I can have a bit of a look. Okay, and if I click on this here, I can also refresh and then have a look at, what's 100% exclusive land as far as the native title goes. All right, so that's kind of how that one there works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring this up into full screen. All right, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to get rid of this. Okay. All right, so what we have here is a tree map. Okay, so this is the 2019 natural gas reserves by operator. Okay, and MM3 is the volume unit amount there. So we got Queensland natural gas reserves here for 2019, 12,056, and we've got the breakdown here of every basin, okay, in the tree map. So I've set it up by basin as the first variable there. We can see that the Cooper Basin and the Bowen Basin have the highest volume of natural gas reserves there. Okay, so what I can do now is I click on here for Cooper, and I go, okay, what operators are operating in the Cooper Basin? Okay, I can see Santos is the biggest operator in the Cooper Basin, and Australian Gasfields Limited is probably the only competitor there. Okay, what permit numbers do these guys have? Okay, PL 131, PL 80. Okay, and I can have a bit of a look down here and see what the distribution is of that natural gas reserve volume per lease. Okay, and that gives me a bit of an idea as to sort of what's going on those particular leases. If I want to go length of lease here, no, we won't worry about that just yet. We'll go to field. Okay, so these are the fields here that are on this particular lease. Okay, so these are the sort of the mining sites, I guess, for these particular leases. And then I can go here, we'll go to this one here, and go field. Okay. And, I can just work it out from there. Okay. So that's a good sort of tool to have. I'm not going to worry about these ones because there's not really much down there. But we'll have a look at the Bowen just quickly. Okay. So Armor Energy, quite dominant as far as the reserves go in 2019 in the Bowen. So historically, I don't know if that's changed or not. I'd have to go back and do another tree map, another analysis and compare. Permit number again. So, okay, this tells me here they've got two leases here, one on PL 511 and one on PL 71. And I'd be having a look to see, what sort of work they've done on those leases over the last 6 years or so. What with the field? Okay, and you can have a look at this in the annual report if these guys are publicly listed, which often with these big players you can. Have a look down here again. Okay, so that's their reserves there. All right. So that's kind of how a tree map works. I quite like it as a tool to sort of break down where everything is. It shows the full scope of what you're analyzing, especially in a market like mining, where there's so many different sort of factors and variables, and you want to sort of see the full scope and the full picture. And in bureaucracy too, you can sort of develop a level of expertise in one particular section, but to try and uncover the full landscape and full scope is quite powerful with data. All right, so next over here, we go into total number of production wells by basin, lease, and field, 2015 to 2023. Okay, so I've got my total gas cumulative volume down here because that's kind of interesting. This is a focus on, how many wells are producing by basin. Okay, so I've got my reporting year here. I'm just going with 23 to start with, okay, because this is the most recent year. So, and I can sort this by production type as well if I want to drill down a little bit further. But to start off with, I just want to go here and go, right, so I want to know that 26,000 here, what's the breakdown? So Surat and Bowen are the two biggest basins here in terms of the um, total wells on production. So if I go to Surat first, I can go operator, okay, and I can sort of see how many wells there are by operator down here. Okay, so Cenex isn't really doing much. These guys haven't really done much at all. They're kind of like probably your smaller exploration-based players within the petroleum industry. You can really see the businesses that monopolize the market here at the top. QGC, Bronco Energy, not familiar with, but apparently they've got quite a few wells. Australia Pacific, LNG, and then Santos, CSG, as you would sort of expect. All right, so once again, Santos, the dominant player, will have a look. All right, let's have a look. Lease permits here. All right, so these leases here, PL 314, PL 1020, and 1019. Big amounts of wells here. And I want to know what fields are there. Okay, so Roma, we know that there's a lot of production wells in that Roma region. Okay, so Grafton Range, quite small, but there's a bit there. So we know straight away that's what's going on. And then over here, we've got same again. Okay, so Roma here, and then going here for field name, Roma. Okay, so we know that Roma is where Santos are really sort of focusing their attention there in 2023 as far as the number of producing wells go within that Queensland region. Okay, well, in that Surat-based region, if I go over here to Bowen, okay, it's when Santos Toga, okay, and I don't know where that is, but okay, Fairview, so still Roma. And then having a look here, Arcadia. Okay, yes, they're all around that Miles, Roma type region there. Okay, and I can just sort of have a bit of a look. If I want to know QPM energy, I can go over here and go, right, this small player, where are they at? Okay, Grosvenor. I'm not sure where that is, but I'm sure I could look it up. So that just gives you a bit of an idea. And I can look at the total gas cumulative volume, okay, for that production, those 100 production wells out on the particular site. Okay, so that's something that's pretty good to be able to see. If I want to break that down to, natural gas, what is it? I can sort of then do this as well. So if I just clear all this out for a sec, okay, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back here. Okay, and production type. All right, so do we want to go coal seam gas? Okay, so these are the number of wells on coal seam gas. Okay, so um, a few there. Okay, natural gas, oil, LPG, and condensate, I believe. That's much higher there at 19,000. So, um, you know, bit of a breakdown there. I'd say like there's a fair bit under natural gas if I broke it down from what I've seen. Sandstone, sandstone, and unknown. Yes, there's not much there. Majority of it is here and here, coal seam gas, natural gas, oil, and then a little bit up here too in the Bowen. Okay. So if I just want to go natural gas here only, um, go back to the Bowen. All right. And yeah, it's just all Santos again. So that's kind of how that one works there. All right, this is the last one I'm going to go through today for this particular video. So production volume 2015 to 23 in the Queensland petroleum industry. Okay, so I've just got some line graphs here. Total condensate cumulative volume, total gas cumulative volume, total oil cumulative volume, and total LPG cumulative volume. Okay, so this is by reporting year. I've taken the numbers from December for every particular year here that I've added within this particular model. All right, and I've got the basins here, so I can filter this out. I've got the operators, I can filter it out and determine which players are moving in what direction. Um, so if I'm looking here, we can see straight away 2020 wasn't good in anything really. There was a decline for everyone during COVID, as expected. That's the first thing that jumps out at me. Um, Down here, we really saw an increase over a couple of year period here in total gas cumulative volume. Um, and it continued to climb all the way to COVID and then sort of came back a little bit in 21 before dipping again. And 23 still wasn't very good. So we haven't really seen much strength there post COVID, but we did see quite an increase here um, post sort of 2014. Now, 2016, I think there was a bit of a dip in the oil price from memory. So if I'm looking here at oil, okay, I can see that dip right here. The total oil cumulative volume kind of decreased a little bit here. That might be to do with production. Some businesses decreasing on the production side of things because the oil price had dropped and they were holding off. Um, but yeah, that's kind of interesting to sort of see there that there's a dip to 2017 and then rebounded up in 2018 once the market started to recover. But then since 2018, we've seen that start to go down. And maybe that's to do with more renewable energy sources coming out. And then total LPG cumulative volume there hasn't been super strong either. It's sort of down over the years. Um, Condensate cumulative volume here, we've had a pretty good bounce back post-COVID, and that's back here in 2023, sort of almost in line here with 2018. Yeah, not quite 2018, but stronger there than 2019. So I think 2019 is a good metric to use when we're looking at post-COVID recovery in the commodities-based industry. All right, so that's sort of as a whole there. If I want to look it down as by basin here, I can go, okay, Bowen Basin. So we know that Bowen, Cooper, Surat, probably worth looking at. Eromanga. I guess you probably look at all of them here. So Ad Vale, there's nothing really there. Bowen, okay, looking at this here, Bowen's really sort of ramped up here as far as total condensate cumulative volume has gone up. We've seen that massive increase here post-COVID. This here has come down, total gas cumulative volume, total oil. We've seen a dip there in oil. And then up here again, LPG hasn't really given us too much. Cooper, yeah, okay. So Cooper Basin, it's an interesting one. Has that dried up? And that's an interesting sort of question with bigger companies, such as Santos have sort of moved into other markets such as PNG and Alaska to diversify a little bit there. So that could just be to do with a lot of the Cooper Basin facilities getting a little bit older, looking for new exploration opportunities in the global market. But yeah, there's definitely some declines here through the Cooper Basin that are quite notable over the last sort of 5 or so years. Okay, and I can even have a bit of a look at that. So if I want to go down and have a look at where these guys are at, yeah, you just got declines there under Santos Limited. Now, the thing is, like, they have other joint venture partnerships. So, like a lot of these businesses, so you sort of have to, um, keep that in mind. But I can see here that, what these production types are, obviously. All right. So, Eromanga, yeah, not a lot going on there. Surat. So, Surat is looking like it's picking up here in total oil cumulative volume. If I want to look at natural gas, okay, so natural gas here is gone up, condensate volume's gone down, coal seam gas. So coal seam gas, not much there, and maybe that's just to do with the renewable energy transition. I'm not too sure. All right, so that's the presentation there for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed, got a few insights from that. And I'll start working on some different states if I can find some drilling, slide kickoff dates and a few other bits and pieces for this particular Queensland model. I'll add it in to make it stronger. If not, I will sort of pivot back to WA and South Australia and build similar models to this before finishing off with Northern Territory. And then I will perform a full analysis of the Australian petroleum-based industry within those 4 states, because that's where most of the petroleum is in this country. And then from there, we'll move into critical minerals and other forms of commodities to gather further insights. If you like the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to catching you in the next video. Cheers, guys.